Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where I will be crocheting it forward in this video by showing you how to make an alternative ribbing for your winter hats. This can be used for pretty much any hat, any winter hat. If you're doing like this double crochet hat, which I did for, it's an adult size, and then I did a single crochet row with this speckled thicker yarn. You can use it for my mile a minute hat. Certainly I would have included this technique in that video had I known about it. Just pretty much any hat. I know that ribbing can be very intimidating for beginners. I know when I first got back into crocheting several years ago, I could not master the front post, back post double crochet for nothing. And it was very frustrating. And I, just waited every year to return to it until one time I just decided that I'm just going to learn it. I didn't like the way that my winter hats were coming out with just regular like 5 rows of single crochet or half double crochet. So I really wanted to learn this ribbing stitch. So for you beginners, I feel your pain, and you guys, I'm going to be pretty positive that you guys are going to really enjoy this alternative. Another thing I wanted to share is that this stitch is worked from the bottom. So it's a top down stitch, which means you're going to do your hat and go all the way down and then attach your ribbing last. I know with a lot of crochet patterns you do the ribbing first and then move forward for the hat, but not for this particular pattern. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I have like a baby hat right here, just regular worsted weight yarn. I think this might be a size 3 or something. I'm using a 4.0 hook. However, if you want to use a different kind of hook, for a bigger size hook, or a smaller size hook, if you're working with bulk yarn for winter hats, you can definitely do that. You'll just have to work with it to see how long you want your brim to be in terms of the length right here. So for this baby hat, I'm just going to go ahead and chain 6. Okay. The stitches you'll need to know are chains, slip stitches, and single crochets. That's it. No front post, no back post. You will need to know how to single crochet in the back loop, which is not too hard to do. So we're going to go ahead and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're just going to single crochet back to the hat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we end up with 4 stitches because the stitch on our hook did not count. And you see where we're in this particular stitch, we're going to slip stitch in the next 2. That is the repeat. Okay, we're going to turn our work, we're going to skip the 2 slip stitches, and then we're going to single crochet in the back loop, because this is what's going to give that ribbing effect. Only 1, 2, 3, and then that 4th one is kind of lower, so it might be hiding a little bit. We're going to chain 1, turn our work, and repeat that same thing. We're going to single crochet 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is the back loop. You have a front loop and a back loop with your sideway V. You're always going to go in that back loop. Okay, we're working in this particular stitch, so we are going to slip stitch in the next 2. Turn our work. We're going to skip these 2 slip stitches and then single crochet in the back loop only of the next 4, or however long your ribbing is going to be. Chain 1, turn your work, and then just repeat. How simple is that? Now, it might be intimidating until you get used to it. I mean, you got the whole brim of the hat to do. So by the end of the brim, I'm sure you're going to know what you're doing. So slip stitch in the next 2. Turn our work, skip those slip stitches, and then single crochet in the back loop. only. Not a hard repeat at all. Like I said, this is so beginner friendly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, we're working in this one right here, so we're going to slip stitch in the next 2. And then just repeat our pattern. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this all the way around here. I will meet you back here. I'll show you how to close, and then I'll show you how to put a really crisp and clean single crochet row to clean this part up. Okay guys, I am almost done here. I'm just skipping my last 2 here, I think. Maybe last 2, maybe not. Now I do want to say that this is going to work whether you end up exactly with 2 slip stitches or 1 slip stitch. It's a very forgiving pattern. Okay, skipping those 2 slip stitches, or slip stitches, and then continuing on with my 4 single crochets. And I am super sorry on the lighting. Let me see if I can try to adjust this a little bit. I didn't realize how bright it was. Okay. Chain 1, turn. Okay, and then 4 single crochets back down in the back loop. I'm sorry, I didn't say back loop. Going down the other way when I got back on camera. We are continuing to do our single crochets in the back loop. Okay, there's my 4, and then I only have 1 here. So that's fine. If you have 2 to slip stitch, that's fine too. We're going to go ahead and turn our work, skip that slip stitch, and then single crochet back down, or back to the first, to the tip of our hat, I'm sorry. Okay, pull our loop up. At this point we're going to join. Okay, so let me grab my yarn here, get it situated. You might have to adjust your hook, and then we are just going to slip stitch in those 4 stitches that we started with, because this is where we're beginning and then this is where we're ending, and that's how we're going to do to close our hat. Okay, we're going to go through our stitch, this stitch in your last row, as well as slip and matching those stitches. I'm sorry, this isn't coming out right. I haven't had my coffee. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Well, you can do an extra stitch if you want to. I think I'm going to do an extra stitch. Then we're going to chain 1, cut our yarn, pull in that end so you don't see it, and there it is. You can really barely tell where that last ribbing is. So now what I want you to do is go ahead and grab your yarn, and we're just going to do a clean single crochet edging. It's your slip knot, and I'm going to go ahead and attach where we fastened off at. And this stretches too, guys. Ribbing always stretches, so you probably already knew that, but if for those of you that didn't, I'm just going to go right in to this same stitch. Okay, attach, and then we're going to single crochet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet here and at the top of our ridge there and at the top of our ridge. I realize that in between your ridges there's only going to be 1 loop, but that's okay. It will come out. As long as you're doing it in the same spot all the way around, you see how I'm doing that? It's going to come out. top of your ridge, and then top of that loop. Top of your ridge, top of that loop in between, top of your ridge, loop, top of the ridge, loop. So go ahead and finish that. You see how that's nice and crisp and even? Finish that and I'll meet you back. Okay guys, so I'm done with my single crochet border row, and I'm just going to slip stitch to join. To the first single crochet. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and weave in my ends real quick. I normally don't do this on camera, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I'm just going to go through some stitches. Oh, sorry, I was completely off camera. Skipping a lot there. And again, everybody can sews in their ends differently. There's no right or wrong way. If it works for you, then that's all that matters. That is all that matters. So I got one down. Oops. Not the hook, I need the needle. And then I like, for my hats, I just like to go into that next stitch just so that it looks like a cleaner stitch, and I don't have that big knot. Sometimes a knot is kind of big, especially when you're working with bulky yarn. And again, I'm just going to go through some stitches. Kind of hard with this small yarn. I mean this thinner yarn and this big old needle. I probably should have used a smaller needle. And again, I'm just going through the stitches that are on this side. I'm not going to the ones where I don't want them to see where I'm sewing my ends in on the other side. And this is going to be for a newborn baby, so I'm going to go ahead and give the measurements for the pattern in the information box if you want to know how I did this cute little newborn hat. I don't think I have a video. And again, I'm going to go into that stitch. And now this is a small tail. Now these small ones can be a little challenging, so I like to work with the back end. I just leave a little bit of the loop there, and I'm going to go ahead and close this little loop right there, a little space. And then I like to go back through. First I take the needle and go through some stitches. Sewing in ends sometimes can be a little tedious. You just need patience. See, I already have the needle in, and because I'm working with this small tail, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Fluff everything up, and there you have it. Cute little baby hat with a ribbing. There's the back side. You see how the ribbing kind of goes right into this pattern. You can't really even tell. Super easy, super simple, and again, you can make this ribbing as long as you want. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to share that technique for our beginners, or for anybody that's finding ribbing for winter hats a little challenging. So thanks for watching. I apologize for any confusion. Hopefully you've watched this whole video, maybe took some notes before diving into the pattern. Again, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and together let's continue to crochet it forward. Bye now.